Number 1. The 1971 Ford Torino GT. The 1971 Ford Torino GT is one of the most recognizable muscle cars of the early 1970s. With its long hood, aggressive fastback-inspired styling, and powerful V8 options, the Torino GT remains a highly desirable classic for Ford enthusiasts. This example is listed at $27,500 in Xenia, Ohio, and shows 34,000 miles. It has a clean title and is reported to have no significant damage or problems. Under the hood is a rebuilt original 351 Cleveland V8, one of Ford's most respected performance engines. The 351 Cleveland is known for its strong cylinder head design and excellent performance potential, making it a popular choice for classic Ford muscle cars. The engine is paired with a rebuilt transmission, while the car has also received a substantial list of new and rebuilt components. Recent work includes a new gas tank, dual exhaust, power steering system, and alternator. The exterior has been refreshed with a new paint job, a new stripe kit, new bumpers, door handles, and windshield. The seller also includes the original full-width taillights, giving the next owner the option to customize the car's appearance or return it closer to its original look. Inside, the Torino has received a new interior and a new weather strip kit. A floor shifter is also included and still needs to be installed, which could give the car a more aggressive and performance-oriented feel once completed. The car also sits on new wheels and tires, giving the Torino a fresh stance and completing the updated appearance. So, is it worth the $27,500 asking price? In my opinion, this is an interesting Torino GT for buyers looking for a classic Ford muscle car that has already received a significant amount of restoration work. The combination of a rebuilt original 351 Cleveland, rebuilt transmission, new paint, new interior, new exhaust, new weather stripping, and numerous new components makes it much more appealing than a typical project car. The main details I would want to verify are the mileage documentation, the quality of the paint and bodywork, the condition of the floors and frame, and whether the rebuilt engine and transmission have supporting receipts. At $27,500, this Torino appears to offer a strong balance between classic styling and usable performance. It is not being presented as a high-dollar concours restoration, but rather as a refreshed and upgraded muscle car that should be ready to enjoy once the remaining floor shifter installation is completed. The 1971 Ford Torino GT remains an excellent choice for enthusiasts who want something with classic Ford muscle car presence without paying the prices often associated with the most famous nameplates. With its rebuilt 351 Cleveland and extensive list of new parts, this example could be a very enjoyable classic for the next owner. Number 2. The 1966 Ford Fairlane 500. This 1966 Ford Fairlane 500 is a classic American coupe that combines a mostly original foundation with a few tasteful performance upgrades. Listed in Taylorville, Illinois, $4.32,000, this Fairlane features a burgundy exterior, black interior, automatic transmission, and a clean title. The car is reported to have approximately 90,000 original miles. Under the hood is the original 289 cubic inch Ford V8, now upgraded with a 4-barrel aluminum intake, headers, dual exhaust, and a mild camshaft. Those changes should give the small block Ford a more aggressive sound and stronger performance while keeping the car's classic character intact. The transmission is an automatic mounted on the column, and the car has a 9-inch rear end, a popular and durable component among Ford enthusiasts. For improved stopping power, the Fairlane also features front disc brakes, with drum brakes in the rear. The seller says the body is excellent, and the car has had only one repaint since leaving the factory more than 30 years ago. The paint remains in decent condition for its age, while the black interior is described as being in great shape. The car also comes with fairly new wheels and very good tires, giving the Fairlane a fresh appearance without taking away from its classic design. In my opinion, this could be an appealing choice for someone who wants a clean, usable classic Ford rather than a completely over-restored show car. The original 289 engine, 9-inch rear end, front disc brakes, and mild performance upgrades create a nice balance between vintage character and everyday drivability. At $32,000, the price will depend heavily on the quality of the body, the condition of the older repaint, and how well the mechanical upgrades were installed. But for the right buyer, this fairlane looks like a solid classic cruiser with plenty of room to enjoy and personalize. Number 3. The 1965 Pontiac Lemans. The 1965 Pontiac Lemans is an interesting classic for enthusiasts who appreciate the style of a mid-1960s Pontiac with the added appeal of a genuine performance-oriented engine. Listed in Topeka, Kansas, this Lemans is priced at $24,000 and is described as a running and driving classic in fair overall condition. One of the most notable features is the 1965 389 cubic inch Pontiac V8 block, identified by casting code 977-8789, combined with a 1966 tri-power setup. That combination gives this Lemans a much more serious performance character than a standard example. The engine is paired with a 2-speed Powerglide automatic transmission and a 3.23 Posey traction rear end. The seller says the car runs and drives, and it has reportedly been owned by the current seller for approximately 17 years without major issues. The exterior is not presented as a perfect show car. The paint is described as looking good from about 15 feet away, but it does have imperfections up close. The car comes with both a set of Craigar wheels and a set of 15-inch steel wheels with dog dish hubcaps, giving the next owner different styling options. The seller also includes Willwood front disc brakes, although they have not yet been installed. The car currently has manual brakes and manual steering, and it does not have air conditioning. In my opinion, this Lemans has the kind of personality that makes a classic car interesting. It is not a flawless restoration, but the 389 Pontiac engine with tri-power, the Posey traction rear end, and the long-term ownership history give it genuine appeal. The included Willwood brake kit could also be a worthwhile upgrade for improved stopping performance. At $24,000, I would focus closely on the condition of the body, the quality of the engine installation, and the completeness of the brake conversion, but for someone looking for a driver with real Pontiac performance character, this could be a very enjoyable car. Number 4. The 1972 Oldsmobile Cutlass. What if you want the aggressive appearance of a classic 442, but you don't necessarily want to pay the price of a genuine, fully documented 442? This 1972 Oldsmobile Cutlass, listed at $28,995 by a dealership in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, takes an interesting approach by combining classic Cutlass styling with a number of 442-inspired upgrades. The car is finished in the original Oldsmobile color known as Viking Blue, giving it a distinctive appearance that looks especially good on the long, muscular body lines of the 1972 Cutlass. Under the hood is a 350 cubic inch V8, paired with an automatic transmission. According to the seller, the engine was rebuilt approximately 8,000 miles ago, and the car is described as a strong-running driver. The transmission has also recently been resealed, and the car has just been serviced and inspected by the dealership's service center. The exterior received a driver quality repaint in Viking Blue last year. This is not being presented as a perfect concours restoration, and that may actually be part of the appeal for someone who wants a classic that can be enjoyed on the road without the pressure of treating it like a museum piece. The car also features a number of 442-inspired appointments, including a fiberglass 442-style hood, a recessed grille, rally mirrors, a rally steering wheel, a 442-style dual-exhaust rear bumper, and rally-painted stripes. Together, these details give the Cutlass a much more aggressive appearance. The car also comes with power steering, power brakes, and factory air conditioning. The air conditioning is present but is currently not blowing cold, so that is something a potential buyer would want to address. The underside is described as being very clean for a car that is more than 5 decades old, and the vehicle is originally from Arizona, which could be a positive factor when evaluating the body and undercarriage. The seller also recently installed brand new tires, with fewer than 50 miles on them at the time of the listing. So, is it worth the asking price? Personally, I think the biggest appeal of this Cutlass is the overall package. You get the look of a classic Oldsmobile muscle car, a rebuilt 350 V8, an automatic transmission, power steering, power brakes, 442-inspired styling, and a clean-looking underside, all for less than $30,000. At $28,995, buyers should still carefully inspect the paintwork, body panels, floors, frame, and the quality of the modifications. The air conditioning also needs attention, and the odometer is listed as true mileage unknown, so the vehicle's history should be considered carefully. But if you're looking for a classic Oldsmobile that looks more aggressive than a standard Cutlass and can be driven and enjoyed, this 1972 Oldsmobile Cutlass could be a very interesting option. It may not be a genuine 442, but it offers a similar visual attitude while keeping the price considerably lower than many authentic high-performance examples. For someone who wants a stylish classic V8 cruiser with a strong driver-quality presentation, this Cutlass in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, is definitely worth a closer look. Number 5. The 1966 Chevrolet Caprice two-door hardtop. The 1966 Chevrolet Caprice two-door hardtop was Chevrolet's answer for buyers who wanted full-size comfort with a more upscale and stylish presentation. This particular example is listed in Akron, Ohio, for $37,500. Finished in Aztec bronze with a matching burgundy interior, this Caprice has a very distinctive period-correct appearance. The seller describes it as an all-original car with just 69,228 original miles. Under the hood is the car's biggest attraction, a numbers-matching 396 cubic inch V8. That gives this full-size Chevrolet considerably more performance character than an ordinary cruiser. It also features factory air conditioning, and the seller specifically describes it as ice-cold, a major bonus for anyone who plans to actually drive and enjoy this classic during the warmer months. According to the listing, the car runs and drives incredibly, and the seller is confident enough to suggest that a buyer could fly into Ohio and drive the car home. Personally, I think the combination of low original mileage, an all-original presentation, matching numbers, factory air conditioning, and the two-door hardtop body style makes this one especially interesting. Cars like this can be difficult to find because many full-size Chevrolets from this era were used heavily over the decades. Finding one with fewer than 70,000 miles and a matching numbers 396 is certainly something that deserves a close look. At $37,500, this isn't an entry-level classic, but the value will depend heavily on the originality, documentation, body condition, and whether the claimed mileage can be supported. The 1966 Chevrolet Caprice two-door hardtop offers a combination of luxury, size, and big block performance. And with its Aztec bronze exterior, matching interior, numbers matching 396, and cold factory air conditioning, this could be a fantastic classic Chevrolet for someone looking for an original full-size cruiser with serious V8 character. Number 6. The 1965 Chevrolet Chevelle Malibu. The 1965 Chevrolet Chevelle Malibu is a classic example of the mid-1960s American cruiser. With its clean lines, simple mechanical layout, and unmistakable Chevrolet styling, the Chevelle remains one of the most popular classic cars for enthusiasts who want something they can actually drive and enjoy. This example is listed at just $8,500 in Ottumwa, Iowa, and is described as a great driver car with approximately 60,000 miles showing. Under the hood is a 283 cubic inch Chevrolet V8, paired with a 2-speed automatic transmission. This combination was designed more for smooth cruising than high-performance muscle, but it offers the classic small-block Chevy experience and should be relatively straightforward to maintain. The car is also a factory air conditioning car. The seller says the system blows reasonably cool when charged, but it does not currently hold the refrigerant. The system uses R134, so the next owner may have an opportunity to repair the leak and restore the air conditioning to more consistent operation. The Chevelle has also received newer wheels and tires, giving the car a fresher appearance and helping improve its road manners. Cosmetically, the seller is very honest about the condition. The car has been painted at some point, but the paintwork is not described as professional or perfect. Still, the seller says it looks pretty good overall, which suggests this is a car intended for cruising rather than competing in a show. The interior needs some attention as well, particularly the seats. This is another area where the next owner could gradually improve the car over time. So, is it worth the $8,500 asking price? In my opinion, this is exactly the kind of classic car that can appeal to someone looking for an affordable entry into vintage Chevrolet ownership. It is not a high-performance SS or a fully restored show car, but that is also why the price is much more accessible. For $8,500, a running and driving 1965 Chevelle with AV8, factory air conditioning, newer wheels and tires, and a classic body style could be a very enjoyable weekend cruiser. The buyer should carefully inspect the floors, frame, body, and the air conditioning system before purchasing, especially since the seller acknowledges that the system does not hold a charge. The 1965 Chevrolet Malibu offers classic mid-60s styling, simple small-block Chevy power, and plenty of room for future improvements. For someone who wants an affordable classic that can be driven now and gradually upgraded later, this $8,500 Chevelle in Ottumwa, Iowa could be a very interesting opportunity. Number 7. The 1967 Chevrolet Camaro RS Sport Coupe. The 1967 Chevrolet Camaro RS Sport Coupe is one of the most iconic first-generation muscle cars ever built. With its aggressive styling and compact performance-oriented design, the first-year Camaro remains highly desirable among classic Chevrolet enthusiasts. This example is listed in West Des Moines, Iowa, $4.45,000. It is finished in a dramatic black-on-black color combination, featuring black paint, a black vinyl top, and a black interior. The car was built at the Norwood Assembly Plant, and the seller says they have owned it for approximately 4 years, driving it only around 2,000 miles during that time. The car features the complete rally sport front end, including electric hideaway headlights upgraded with a Detroit speed system. The headlights are reported to work properly, while the rear features the distinctive RS all-red taillights. Under the hood is a 355 cubic inch small-block Chevrolet V8, based on a 350 board .030 over. The engine is finished in Chevrolet orange and equipped with chrome valve covers and a professionally rebuilt Holley 650 double-pumper carburetor. Power is sent through a Doug Nash 5-speed manual transmission to a 12-bolt rear end with 3.73 gears. The car also features long tube headers, an aluminum radiator with an electric fan, power steering, and power brakes. The suspension has been upgraded with a multi-leaf rear conversion and adjustable shocks, giving the Camaro a more performance-focused foundation. Inside the trunk, the car has a custom carpeted enclosure housing a hidden Rockford Fosgate amplifier and 10-inch subwoofer, along with a Bluetooth-equipped vintage-style radio. The wiring has also been cleaned up and concealed for a more finished appearance. The car rides on rally wheels with chrome trim rings and staggered BF Goodrich radial T/A tires, completing the classic muscle car look. In my opinion, this 1967 Camaro RS offers a compelling mix of iconic styling and serious mechanical upgrades. The black-on-black appearance is particularly striking, while the 355 V8, Doug Nash 5-speed, 12-bolt rear end, and upgraded suspension make this more than just a showpiece. At $45,000, buyers should verify the car's history, body condition, and the quality of the modifications, but for the right enthusiast, this could be a very enjoyable and aggressive first-generation Camaro. Number 8. The 1969 Pontiac Firebird. The 1969 Pontiac Firebird is one of the most recognizable muscle cars of the late 1960s, and this example offers a combination that many enthusiasts still actively look for: a 400 cubic inch Pontiac engine and a manual transmission. Located in Mt. Morris, Michigan, this Firebird is listed for $40,000. It shows approximately 50,000 miles and features an orange exterior with a black interior. The car also comes with a clean title. According to the seller, the car appears to be largely original, although the exact originality of the components would be something a serious buyer should verify. Under the hood is a Pontiac 400 V8, paired with a manual transmission. The seller describes the car as running, driving, and stopping extremely well. It is also said to sound great and look great, which is exactly the combination that makes a classic Firebird so appealing on the street. The orange paint gives the car plenty of presence, and the seller describes it as a definite head-turner. With its classic second-generation style Pontiac design, powerful V8, and manual transmission, this Firebird has the kind of personality that can make every drive feel like an event. In my opinion, this Firebird has a very appealing combination of style and performance. The 400 engine and manual transmission give it genuine muscle car character, while the reported 50,000 miles and mostly original appearance add to its appeal. The main thing I would want to verify is the car's exact history and how original the drivetrain really is. But if the condition matches the description, this could be a very enjoyable and attention-grabbing classic at $40,000 OBO. Number 9. the 1971 Pontiac Ventura Roller. What if you're looking for a solid classic Pontiac project that you can build your own way, without having to undo someone else's questionable modifications? This 1971 Pontiac Ventura Roller, located in Corbin, Kentucky, is currently being offered at around $13,200 to $14,000, depending on the wheels and tires included. Unlike a completed classic car, this Ventura is being sold as a project. But that can be exactly what makes a car like this interesting to the right enthusiast. The seller describes it as a good, solid car that has not been cut on, which is an important detail for anyone planning a serious build. Starting with an unmodified body can save a lot of time and money compared with repairing years of poorly executed custom work. The car currently has slicks and small front runners, giving it a clear drag racing-inspired appearance. The seller is also willing to include a set of bullet hole wheels and tires at a lower price, depending on the buyer's preference. Several parts are included to help move the project forward. The seller has new carpet, a good back seat, and 2 decent front seats. The dashboard is also described as being in good condition. Another important detail is that the original wiring harness is included. For someone planning a custom build, having the original interior and wiring components available could be useful, especially if the goal is to restore the car's interior or create a more complete street car. The seller is asking $14,000 in its current configuration, or approximately $13,200 with the alternate wheels and tires. So, is it worth the money? Personally, I think this Ventura will appeal mostly to someone who already has a clear plan for the build. It is not a turnkey classic that you can simply buy and drive home. It is a foundation. The biggest advantage is that the seller says the car is solid and has not been cut up. That gives the next owner a blank canvas for a street machine, drag car, or custom Pontiac project. At this price range, the buyer should carefully inspect the body, floors, frame, suspension, and all included parts before making a deal. A project car can become expensive quickly, so knowing exactly what is included is extremely important. But for someone who wants a classic Pontiac project with a solid body, drag racing potential, and plenty of room to build something unique, this 1971 Pontiac Ventura Roller could be an interesting opportunity. It may need plenty of work before it hits the road, but the right builder could turn this unfinished Pontiac into something seriously special. Number 10. The 1980 Chevrolet Camaro. This 1980 Chevrolet Camaro, listed in Hampshire, Illinois, for $22,500, is far from an ordinary third-generation style classic cruiser. Underneath its clean vintage appearance is a serious high-performance build designed for anyone who enjoys big power. The car has reportedly traveled just 300 miles since the current setup was completed and is finished in Viper Red with a tan interior. The seller says the Camaro originally came from the South and has never seen winter, which is reflected in the reportedly clean body and undercarriage. There is one dent on the passenger side quarter panel, but otherwise the car is described as having no rust and being very clean underneath. The real story is under the hood. This Camaro is powered by a 468 cubic inch big block V8, paired with a turbo 350 automatic transmission featuring a manual reverse valve body. The engine includes performance components such as Patriot heads, eagle rods, a forged crankshaft, crane cam and lifters, and upgraded rocker hardware. It also has Hooker long tube headers and an MSD ignition system. The seller claims that with a 94mm turbocharger and an E85 tune, this combination produced an incredible 1,067 horsepower at the rear wheels. Currently, the Camaro is running naturally aspirated with a 950 CFM carburetor, so the car is not currently using that turbo setup. The transmission has also recently been rebuilt, with fewer than 500 miles on the rebuild. It features a trans brake, although the seller says it still needs to be hooked up. The rear tires are Nitto Street radials, also with fewer than 500 miles on them. Personally, what makes this Camaro interesting is the contrast between its clean, classic appearance and the serious drag racing potential hidden underneath. This is not simply a restored cruiser, it is a high-performance project that has already received substantial upgrades. At $22,500 OBO, the price may attract buyers looking for a powerful street car with room for even more performance. However, anyone considering it should carefully inspect the engine build, transmission, wiring, tuning, cooling system, and overall quality of the modifications. The 1980 Chevrolet Camaro may look like a clean classic in Viper Red. But underneath, with a 468 big block, a performance-built turbo 350, and a claimed history of over 1,000 rear-wheel horsepower with boost, this Camaro could be a serious street machine for the right enthusiast. Number 11. The 1978 Cadillac Coupe DeVille. The 1978 Cadillac Coupe DeVille represents the classic American luxury car in its purest form. Large, comfortable, and powered by a big V8, these cars were built for effortless cruising rather than outright performance. Today, they offer enthusiasts an affordable way to experience the style and presence of a true late 1970s Cadillac. This example is listed at just $2,500 in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and comes with a clean title. Under the hood is the original 425 cubic inch Cadillac V8. The seller says the engine does run, although it currently runs rough. That means the car may need diagnostic work before it can be considered a dependable driver, but the fact that the original big Cadillac engine still runs is a positive starting point. The car is also a true hardtop coupe, meaning it has the classic pillarless side window design that gives these large Cadillacs such a distinctive appearance. The seller describes the body and frame as being in excellent condition, which could be the most important part of this project. However, the car does need floor pans and some rust repair. These areas should be carefully inspected, because structural rust and floor damage can quickly turn an inexpensive project into a much more expensive restoration. At the same time, the asking price of only $2,500 gives the next owner plenty of room to invest in the car without starting at the price of a completed restoration. The interior is shown as red, creating a classic luxury car look that contrasts with the brown exterior. If the interior is largely complete, the car could have a great foundation for a period-correct restoration or a comfortable custom cruiser. So, is it worth the $2,500 asking price? In my opinion, this is a car that should be purchased based on the condition of the body and frame. If the seller's description is accurate and the major structure is genuinely solid, the price is quite attractive. The rough-running 425 V8 and floor pan repairs are challenges, but neither automatically makes the project impossible. For someone looking for an affordable classic Cadillac project, this could be a fun opportunity. The large 425 V8, hardtop body style, and unmistakable Coupe DeVille design give the car plenty of character. The 1978 Cadillac Coupe DeVille may need work before it becomes road-ready, but at $2,500, it offers an inexpensive entry into classic American luxury car ownership. The key is to inspect the rust carefully, verify the condition of the floors and frame, and determine why the engine is running rough before making an offer. Number 12. The 1974 Chevrolet Nova. The 1974 Chevrolet Nova is a classic compact muscle car with a reputation for being simple, lightweight, and easy to turn into a serious street machine. This example takes that formula and adds a powerful drivetrain and a number of performance upgrades. Listed in Newark, Ohio, $4.36,000, this Nova is finished in a burgundy exterior with a black interior. The car shows just 515 miles, although buyers should confirm whether that figure represents miles since the build or restoration. Under the hood is a 383 cubic inch crate engine equipped with a brawler carburetor. The engine features an aggressive camshaft with .537-inch lift and 312 degrees of duration, and the car is fitted with a 3,000 RPM stall converter for stronger launches. Power is sent through a turbo 350 3-speed automatic transmission, controlled by AB and M Pro ratchet shifter. At the rear is a 10-bolt positraction differential with 3.73 gears, a combination designed to provide strong acceleration. The chassis and braking system have also been upgraded. This Nova features 4-wheel disc brakes, power steering, a reinforced frame, and a full 3-inch exhaust system. Inside, the car has autometer gauges, jegs racing seats, newer headliner material, and aftermarket door panels. The exterior rides on Mickey Thompson radial tires, with 235/60 R15 tires in front and 245/60 R15 tires in the rear, mounted on jegs SSR spike wheels. One unusual detail is that the car has been fitted with a 1970-style front end, giving the 1974 Nova a different appearance from a stock example. The seller also mentions a Toyota paint finish, although the exact paint information is uncertain. The seller says documentation for the build is included, which is an important advantage for anyone interested in understanding the work that has been performed. In my opinion, this Nova is clearly aimed at someone who wants a powerful, customized street machine rather than a factory original restoration. The 383 engine, aggressive camshaft, 3.73 positraction rear end, 4-wheel disc brakes, and reinforced chassis create a serious performance package. At $36,000, the quality of the build and documentation will be especially important, but for the right enthusiast, this could be a very entertaining and distinctive classic Chevrolet. Number 13. The 1966 Chevrolet Impala Convertible. The 1966 Chevrolet Impala Convertible is a classic American cruiser that combines full-size style with open-air driving and modern performance upgrades. This particular example appears to be built for someone who wants to enjoy the car on the road rather than simply park it in a collection. Located in Oxford, Ohio, this Impala is listed for $31,500. It shows approximately 600 miles and is finished in red with a black interior. The car is described as being in excellent condition. The most significant upgrade is under the hood, where the car features a new 383-stroker engine paired with a 5-speed Tremec manual transmission. That combination gives this large classic Chevrolet a much more modern and engaging driving experience than the original drivetrain. The seller says the car runs and shifts great, and the power convertible top works properly. The car also reportedly has excellent paint, zero rust, and very nice chrome, giving it strong visual appeal. Inside, the Impala has been upgraded with a modern radio featuring GPS and a backup camera, along with a new dashboard and updated gauges. These additions provide useful modern conveniences while keeping the car enjoyable as a classic cruiser. The seller also includes new stainless steel headers and a tilt steering column, currently stored in the trunk. Complete paperwork and receipts documenting the work are included, along with a clean title. In my opinion, this Impala has a very appealing balance between classic appearance and modern drivability. The 383-stroker and 5-speed Tremec transmission should make this big convertible much more entertaining to drive, while the updated gauges, GPS, and backup camera add everyday convenience. The seller says the car could be shown, but it really begs to be driven, and I agree that seems to be the main appeal here. At $31,500, the documented work and reported rust-free condition make this a particularly interesting cruiser for someone who wants to enjoy their classic rather than keep it parked. Number 14. The 1967 Pontiac Grand Prix. What if you could find a classic Pontiac with a factory 400 V8 and a 4-speed manual transmission for just $8,000? This 1967 Pontiac Grand Prix, located in Valley Grove, West Virginia, is being offered as a restoration project. But it has one combination that immediately makes it interesting: a factory 400 engine paired with a 4-speed manual transmission. The Grand Prix was known for its large, stylish body and comfortable cruising character. But with a manual transmission and a 400 cubic inch Pontiac V8, this particular example could have a much more performance-oriented personality than the typical automatic Grand Prix. The car is finished in a classic burgundy exterior, and the seller reports approximately 11,223 miles. As always with a classic vehicle, the mileage should be verified with documentation and vehicle history. The seller describes the car as a great restoration project. It is not currently being presented as a turnkey driver, and there is some important mechanical work that will need to be completed. The brakes need attention, and the fuel system will need to be gone through before the car can be safely enjoyed on the road. For a project buyer, however, these issues may represent a manageable starting point rather than a major obstacle, especially if the body and chassis are as solid as the listing suggests. The car also comes with a clean title, which is an important advantage when taking on a restoration project. So, is it worth the asking price? Personally, I think the factory 400 V8 and 4-speed manual combination is the biggest reason to take this Pontiac seriously. A large 1960s Pontiac with a manual transmission has a unique character, and this could become a very interesting street car once the restoration is completed. At $8,000, the price is certainly attractive compared with the cost of a finished classic. But the buyer should carefully inspect the body, frame, floors, engine, transmission, and all mechanical systems before purchasing. The biggest question is how much work the car really needs beyond the brakes and fuel system. A project that appears simple can quickly become expensive if hidden rust or missing parts are discovered. Still, if the car is solid and the major components are complete, this 1967 Pontiac Grand Prix could offer a great foundation for a restoration. A factory 400 V8, a 4-speed manual transmission, classic Pontiac styling, and an $8,000 asking price make this one of the more interesting project cars on today's list. For the right enthusiast, this could be the beginning of a very cool Pontiac build. Number 15. The 1996 Oldsmobile Ciera. For just $1,000, this 1996 Oldsmobile Ciera, listed in West Terre Haute, Indiana, is definitely aimed at the budget project car market. The seller describes the car as being in fair condition and says it needs engine work, so this is not a vehicle that should be purchased expecting to immediately drive it home. However, one of the biggest positives is that it has brand new tires with fewer than 50 miles on them. That alone could be useful for someone planning to repair the car or use it as a mechanical project. The seller also describes the Ciera as a very solid car and even calls it a mechanic's dream, suggesting that the body and overall foundation may be worth saving. Personally, the phrase, needs engine work, is the biggest question mark here. That could mean anything from a relatively straightforward repair to a complete engine replacement, so a serious buyer would want to know exactly what happened before making an offer. At $1,000 OBO, the low price could make sense for someone who has the tools, knowledge, and time to take on the mechanical work. But because the car is being sold as is with no warranty, the buyer should carefully inspect the engine, transmission, cooling system, and overall condition before committing. The 1996 Oldsmobile Ciera may not be a traditional collectible classic, but with a solid body and nearly new tires, it could still be an interesting low-cost project for a mechanic or enthusiast who sees potential where others see an inexpensive old sedan.